a little bit about Christians' life in North Korea. Um, my English is not that perfect, so I prepared my written testimony here. I was born in 1991 in North Hamgyong province in North Korea, near the border of China. I was born into and raised in a very normal family in my hometown. I mentioned normal family is just regular 99% of the population from North Korea. I had 6 siblings, but only my older sister Jinhae and I survived at the end, and my mother. My older sister, she got missing, and 3 brothers died during the famine. In 1993, my family started to experience a shortage of food. We would eat wild vegetables, grasshoppers, mice, and tree bark. I was dying from malnutrition when my maternal grandmother found 6 newborn mice under the bunch of stones from the yard. After I ate those spoiled mice, I was saved. My family did everything they could, but due to the government's rules, they could not do anything else. And eventually, when my parents ran out of ways to feed my family, they made it a hard decision to illegally cross the border to China. One spring, my parents illegally visited a relative in China and purchased some food with their help. However, when they returned home, my father was arrested by the police in North Korea, and officials from my town came with the clubs and took my mother away after ruthlessly beating her. They also took away all of our food. My grandmother, my younger brothers, my older sister, and I all cried as we tried to hold on to the things that they were taking away. In one day, we lost our parents and our food, and our house was in ruins with nothing left for us. We survived each day on wild plants and water as we earnestly waited for our parents' return. 3 months passed, and you could finally see the contour of my mother coming back to the place. We all ran towards her and greeted her with the tears and hugs, filled with joy. She could barely walk due to the torture she suffered. Although she said that the torture was not as bad as it could have been, at the time she was 3 months pregnant. So from our standpoint, they could have put her life in danger. So we learned afterwards that my father told officials about her pregnancy and begged for her release. However, my father was tortured severely by the police and was forced to admit to all the charges that they were accusing him of, and he was punished. So they beat him with a club till he broke. And in order to hear the response that they wanted from my father, they forced him to starve for longer than 10 days with no water, while they tortured him and beat him every day. Ultimately, he met his end while he was transported to a prison on a train. He passed away, unable to withstand any further suffering. When we heard the news, my mother was in shock and bore the child at only 8 months. On the same day, then my youngest brother was born. My oldest sister left home because she wanted to gain some food for the family, but she never returned. After a week, my mother started to look for her. She traveled miles in North Korea. Also, she crossed the Tuma River to China in the cold winter in search of my older sister. To this day, we still don't know what happened to her or where she is. We only heard the news that she had been sold to China in 1998. I can imagine how hard her life has been. I just wish that I could meet her one day. After my mother returned home, the newborn baby 국방